Hello, this is Saiga and today I'm talking about something that's actually kind of personal to me. One day when my family was coming home from, I don't know, dentist appointment, Wendy's, I don't remember, my brother was talking about how no one had heard of The Little Mermaid 3. And I asked him why. I mean, I've never heard of it. I have no people heard of it. He said, well, it was direct to video. And I said, there are some videos that are direct to video? He said, yeah, a lot of Disney sequels and stuff, they don't have theatrical releases. They just go right to the home video. He said, well, that's kind of dumb. I mean, if they don't have a theatrical release, that means they don't have to try that hard. They don't have to get green-lighted or have to do well at the box office to get a DVD. And that got me thinking. There were a lot of twos and threes of Disney movies that didn't really do that well. Thinking back, I can actually almost pinpoint which ones were direct-to-video and which ones weren't, just by the quality of them. And after seeing the Nostalgia Chicks movie videos about direct-to-video Disney sequels, that kind of got me thinking. Which ones are good, which ones are bad, and what makes them good or bad? So I decided to make this video about it. Disney sequels done right. The first thing a lot of these sequels have to change is that a lot of them aren't even sequels. They're prequels or midquels. And like Nostalgia said, a lot of them feel like just 3 episodes of a non-existent TV show put together to make one movie. And it's called a sequel. I mean, we need a sequel. I don't care what happened before this. If the movie was good enough, they would have explained what happened before this. And it actually kind of feels like there's a lack of foresight on the original movie makers, because if there are long time frames where nothing happens and you don't know what happened, they're going to make a direct-to-video sequel filling us in. And that's bad. I don't care what happened in the middle, because that was dealt with in the first movie. Give us a sequel. We need a sequel. The Nostalgia Chick touched on this one too. If you can't fit the characters into the story, then don't use them. I mean, we can still tell that it's the same franchise because of the characters you keep. I mean, you can still have the brand name recognition without every single one of the characters. This is especially prominent in things like Lion King 2 or all the Aladdin ones, where characters like Timon and Pumbaa or the genie don't really have that much to do. I mean, that just wastes time. If they don't have anything to do, why include them? Nostalgic touched on this before, so I'm not really going to go into too much more detail about this. Bigger conflict. Anybody who's seen a Disney direct-to-video sequel can kind of see where I'm going from here. They don't really seem like like movies. They feel like they have the stakes of a TV episode, which makes sense because, as Nostalgia Chick said, these were made by the same people who make animated series. You need bigger stakes. You need to make it more epic. That's not living up to Disney. It's kind of obvious, so I'm going to end it right about here. Just number one, making a sequel is not enough. You need to make it feel like a sequel. What I say by this is, not only is the animation usually a whole lot different from the original, you can kind of tell it's very different because, the way they act, the characters, doesn't really feel like the way those characters would act in the original. This is especially prominent in stuff like Beauty and the Beast, The Enchanted Christmas. This whole time, Belle's trying to coach the Beast, and she wouldn't have bothered in the first movie. She resented the Beast in the first movie, well, at least the first half of it. So that doesn't really add up. You gotta make it feel like a sequel. You can't just put the same characters in there and make everyone believe it's the same story. And stuff like Ariel, the Mermaid 2. I think that the original era would have been a little bit more understanding of Melody because, it's pretty much the same story, only with Melody learning it. I especially love the part where Sebastian says, "You're just like your mother." I'm thinking like, wow, it's almost as if these two movies are really similar, isn't it? You can't really turn Ariel into her father in the second movie. Ariel's a very iconic character. You need to keep it that way. This is my biggest problem with Disney direct-to-video sequels. They try to continue on stories that wrapped up perfectly. My favorite examples? Lion King and Beauty and the Beast. Both of these movies were near-perfect movies that ended well. So there's not really need to expand on that. This is especially prominent on stuff like Beauty and the Beast direct-to-video sequels. I mean, you can't really make a Beauty and the Beast movie without the Beast being a beast and servants being the candlestick and such. So both of them are midquels. Once again, you need to make them sequels. You can't just do time frames. That movie was almost perfect. Same thing with Lion King. That movie was almost perfect. It wrapped up beautifully. You don't really need to expand on that. One of the Lion King 1.5 was basically just a story of two side characters. You're kind of running out of ideas. I mean, they already have their own TV shows. You know enough about them. That's my biggest problem. I try to expand on stories that ended well. I mean, they need to make Disney sequels on movies that warranted sequels. Like, I didn't find The Black Cauldron that good. You need to expand on that. Make that better. Leave it on a better note. Like, and Sword in the Stone, Aristocats. Those need to be expanded on. For some reason, they're not expanded on at all. You're kind of missing your opportunities to make good, strong movies. And I must admit, not all direct-to-video Disney movies are bad. In fact, one of my favorite nostalgic movies ever was direct-to-video, Pooh's Grand Adventure: The Search for Christopher Robin. That was a great movie. Maybe that's because it wasn't a sequel. Go figure.